Okay, guys, I'm not going to pretend like I don't know the economic situation or how things are at currently and what it's like financially. So it's very difficult, mostly when you don't have a stable means of income. So you just have to get something doing that is consistent in making you money. Now, this is just an encouragement code for us all on what we do and to motivate us to keep pushing, irrespective of what you're going on. I'm going to make today's video a very short and more interesting one, very, very short. So just watch till the end. Let me not just use all this to take away our time. So wherever you are, whatever you're going through at the moment, please take heart and honestly, things is going to get better. It's not just to you, but so many other persons are facing a lot of financial difficulties. So don't let this December add more pressures to you. I'm telling you. Okay, now I'm going to be talking of entry points. Now, entry points. Entry points. Okay. Now, here is what it means to trade based on entry points, using entry point to trade. Entry point is the optimal moment to enter a trade after analyzing potential market movements. Now, this means is the best time you're supposed to trade in the market after you analyze the market. As you can understand from the perspective of forex traders, there is no forex trader who will just wake up from sleep in the morning, then open his system, log into the broker, then just make a trade. It's never happened. It doesn't happen that way. They always analyze the market. As a professional trader, that you know what you are doing, you always will analyze the market before you trade. You don't just go to casino, open your casino game, then you feel is okay for you to just trade in any outcome you see. No, that's not how it works. There are points whereby it is okay for you to trade. There are times it's safe for you to trade in the market. There are moments whereby the probability of that market, that outcome is not stable, is not very guaranteed. So at that point, you do not trade. You understand? Now, trends often trends often signal suitable entry points. It's unwise to start trading randomly. Professional traders prioritize using entry points to mitigate risk and improve accuracy. Avoid switching entry points while pursuing a win. Stick to one entry point until successful before considering a change. This means it's always best for you to use the the trends, the three types of trends to mark an entry point for you when trading. So irrespective of any video I'll be explaining, I will not be going back to explaining what trends are and the three types of trends. Now I'm going to mention them in this video, but I won't be explaining it because that's strictly for my trainees only. Now we have parallel trend, random trend, and zigzag trend. Now in your trade, you are supposed to be using these trends in every casino game. The movement or the outcome of the games is always within these three types of trends. You understand? So you are to use these trends to determine the market flow, the outcome of the market. Now, when using these trends to determine the entry point for you in the market, is also best you know that is safe that you are using just one at a time, one trend at a time. Let's take for instance, if you are using a random trend, you always ensure that is the random trend you are using to trade. You understand? Now, while using a random trend, you can trade in favor of the random trend or against the random trend. Remember this, every zigzag trend is a failed attempt to form a random trend, and every random trend is a failed attempt to form a parallel trend. Now, this means if you are using a zigzag trend, when the market continues on a zigzag trend for some extent, you should be automatically expecting a random trend to take place. Now, after a random trend is formed, automatically a parallel trend will come, then it will revert back to a zigzag trend. This is the continuous movement of the market. So in today's video, I'm going to explain to you how best to use the trend as entry point, or how to trade the market safely using entry points. Now, if let's take for instance now, if you are using this, now this is a data from the 49 jar market. Now, using this data, let's assume that I want to trade on, let me even start with the low, the range, which is the high, mid, and low markets. Now, if I want to trade on low using the random trend, I'm only to trade on the low using that random trend, either in favor of the random trend or against the random trend. Now, if I'm trading in favor of the random trend, I'm trading that the low market is going to form a parallel trend. Whenever I see a random trend occurs, I'll trade that the low market will form a parallel trend. While if I'm trading for if I'm trading against the random trend, I'll trade that whenever a random trend forms, the random trend is going to break. So let's take for instance now, in a random trend like this for high markets, where a random trend is formed there, okay, hold on, okay, here that a random trend is formed, my next entry point is going to be when another random trend is formed on this particular market, I again. And at this point where this random trend is formed for I can decide to trade that. If I'm trading in favor now, I will say the random trend will form a parallel trend, which means I'm saying that the next game is going to be I again. Then if I'm trading against the random trend, I'm trading that at this point, the random trend is going to break, meaning the next market is going to be low. This is what it means. So when you see a random trend form like this, you can decide that it's going to break or is going to continue to form a parallel trend. Now, either one you are taking, you are sticking to it. Let me first go with the against the negative parallel random trend. Now, the negative random trend means at this point, I traded for low, which the next one happens to enter for me for low. Now, as this has entered for me, this point now marks my entry point. For me to trade, I will not just trade again. I will wait for another random trend to take place in this particular eye before I will trade. Now, this is the next random trend that takes place. Now, this random trend that takes place, I'm going to trade again that is going to be low. This is because I'm now trading for the negative. You understand? So you can see it's entered for me again. How about I'm trading for positive that is going to form the random trend is going to form a parallel trend. Here is what I'm to do. It's very simple. Now, at this point here, that random trend is formed for I'm going to trade that this next one is going to be I also, which did not enter for me. You understand? So my next entry point is going to be here. Remember, every zigzag trend is a failed attempt to form a random trend. Every random trend is a failed attempt to form a parallel trend. So if I have a repeated occurrence of this, then it's a guarantee that the following random trend to come is going to form a parallel trend. Like once this repeats itself frequently, I know that a parallel trend is going to come on this market. You understand? So this one now I traded again for I, which did not enter for me. And the next one is this, and I traded at this point for I, it did not enter for me, which is very fine. You understand? Now this, I've used 3 entry points and it did not enter for me. So what do I do at this point? I look for the next entry point, which is here, which is this one. You understand? And I traded for this and it did not enter for me. The next one, the next entry point is here. And I traded for this, it made a win. Now that I have made a win, I'm starting all over again from my trading power. Do you understand? So that was I used 4 times of my trading power. So I'm starting from number 1 again. So you can see it's a repeated cycle of just making money. Now, in order to show you that this is how it is, now let me go to the the low market. Same thing is applicable in the low market. Here is the first entry point, and it happens that in the first entry point for low, assuming we are trading for low to form a parallel trend, at this point it did not enter for us because a trend breaker happens here. Now the next one, entry point for low, was here, and at this point too it did not enter for us, so we move again to the next entry point for low, which happens to be here, and still did not enter for us. That's 3 times. Now the next entry point for low is here, that's 4 times, and it did not enter for us. So the next one, which is the 5th one, it entered for us, as you can see. So you start all over from number 1 again. So it's just a repeated cycle. Now let me take you from here again. Okay, this is where we are for the low. Now let's just move down a bit. Now moving down, at this point that it has entered, the next entry point for low is here again. At this point, I traded for low and it entered for here. At this point, say now that it has entered, I'll have to wait for this low to break before and form another random trend again before I enter, which happens to be this point. And still it did not now this new one, it did not enter for me yet, so I wait for another random trend to take place, which gives me an entry point here, and just in the second one it entered for me. So this is how you trade using entry point. Now let's come to this particular market, the rainbow market. What's happening to this? Okay, now let's come to the rainbow market. Someone asked the question today, so I'm going to explain this. Now, using an entry point in this particular market, here is how it works. You are looking at now, let's say I want to use an entry point using arbitrary trade. In arbitrary trade entry point, at this point, you only trade when you have this draw, this pattern of draw, this pattern of draw, this pattern of draw. You don't trade when, in fact, let me just write this out. You don't trade when there is 0, 3. Oh. You don't trade when there is 0, 3, 3. Every other outcome is okay to trade. So you just trade on the dominant one. However, your next entry, the point you are to enter the market, is what I'm to explain now, what I'm about explaining now. So at this point where you have 3 as the dominant one, you in the next game you trade on these 2. You trade on it separately. Either one that makes a win, you are going to, the odd is 3.2 odd in the market that is assigned to them. So each of them comes a 3.2 odd. This divided by 2, since you are taking the 2, is going to give you 1.60. So to determine your trading power, you have to use 1.6 odd. You understand? Very well. Now, in the next one, now that you have made a win, Now that you made a win at this point for green, in the next one, you don't trade again that is going to now be a red, blue, and red. No, you don't trade it. You wait for this particular one that is dominant to break and move to either one of this one, either this or this before you trade. So at what point is safe for you to trade is this point here. You understand? So at this point here, that this one makes a win, you now trade for this again. And you made a win again. You can see, right? So at this point here, whereby this one has made a win, you don't trade again for this two. Just like that. No. You need this particular winning to shift. This winning to shift to either this or this before you trade. So having 2-2-2 draw is not an entry point for you. So you wait for an entry point. Where is the next entry point? Let's go. Now, the next entry point is here. At this point whereby the market has shifted from the blue to red, you now trade that is going to be any of these two. If it doesn't, now that it does not enter for you, you wait. This one did not enter. You wait for the next entry point. You understand? Which happens to be here. At this point, you can see that it has shifted from red to green. Now that it has shifted from red to green, you now trade on red and blue to be the next winners. And you can see red made a win. So you only use a 2-time trading power and it's entered for you. Now that red has made a win, you don't just trade on these two. You understand? You have to wait for it to shift to any of these ones first. So it's at this point that it has shifted to this point here that you now trade on this other two. Don't know if you understand. You should be able to understand. You can see, right? So if you have made a win, you don't just, for instance, if you have made a win here, you don't just trade on this other two. You wait to make sure that the next winning is not still falling on this market, this color again. Let's take, for instance, as it is here now. This one made a win here. Assuming you now trade that is now going to be on this two again in this next one, you can see that it still repeatedly fell on this one, forming a random trend. So that's what you are trying to avoid, that random trend or parallel trend. You understand? And to avoid this random or parallel trend, you have to make sure that it shifts its winning to this any other two markets before you trade again. So at this point now, it's not safe for you to trade till this point where it has shifted. Now that it has shifted to green now, you can now trade that is going to be blue and red in the next one. Now that it did not enter for it still entered on this one, you wait, like you wait, your next entry point happens to be here. It's at this point it shifted to blue. Now that it has shifted to blue, you can now trade on these two. And green made a win for you. Do you understand? Very well. This guy is what I mean by 033. If you see something like this, you don't trade, because at this point you can't determine which of the colors is making a win, right? Two colors are having equal number, so you don't trade at this point. So this can mark an entry point for you, this can mark an entry point for you, right guys? That's entry point. Like I said, I want to make this video very short, so please, there is someone that commented in the previous post about the person almost commented on all the comments there that is not 100% sure that you are going to make a win something because you don't know the number of times you are going to use your trading power. Now, if you watch the previous video, I highlighted from statistics, I showed you. Come up, come up. I explained how many times it's going to take. Oh, come up now. I explained how many times it's going to take for a particular outcome. Now, this is what the person means. He said that he doesn't know how long is going to double on the high or the low market. Now, if you put this in your statistics in last 100 draw, you are going to see that even if you are doing a blind doubling, it's going to take 6 time maximum. So on the 7th one, you must have made a win and started all over again, which happens to be in the low market. The low market experienced a negative parallel trend for 6 times. Now, in the last 24 hours, they both equally experienced a negative parallel trend for 99 times. So it's on the 10th one you must have made a win. But if you are doing blind doubling, now on the overall draw, the maximum number of time recorded is 19 times. So 19 times means that this is the maximum number of time a particular market has experienced a negative parallel trend. And like I said, you can't in a blind market, like blindly chasing a win, you can't double to this extent to be safe in the market and make a win at this point, because the amount that will be required at this point will be very huge. Understand? So I know that a good number of persons won't have that kind of capital. That's the relevance of skipping. So me now giving you this maximum number of time, revealing this maximum number of time to you, is to indicate for you how best is safe for you to start trading in that market if you tend to trade on that market. So if you have a capital of that will cover for let's say 9 times, then you skip 10 times. If you have a capital that can cover for 14 times, then you skip 5 times or even 6 times. You understand? That's what I mean. So that way you will be safe in the market. Besides, this thing that took place here usually happens only once in a long while. Once in a blue moon. So, alright, so guys, that's all for this video, and I just want to make this short and understandable. Please, if you don't understand, feel free to let me know, and if there is something I need to explain in the next video, I will explain to you. Now, like as is displaying in this, okay, let me just leave this one for the next content. Okay, alright, so guys, catch you up in the next video. Guys, feel free. If you like, don't follow me. If you like, don't share this content, and don't comment if you understand or not, because your own is just to watch. Oh Allah.